But let's, of course, start with this big story from the United States of America, where it's been more than 4 months since the United States and the State of Israel launched their war on Iran. It's been 58 days after a ceasefire was announced. And after all this time, the U.S. congressional lawmakers have voted to limit Donald Trump's war powers. The U.S. House of Representatives, which has a narrow Republican majority, has now voted to approve a resolution that blocks Donald Trump from continuing his war against Iran. What is interesting is this: 4 Republican lawmakers joined the Democrats in passing this resolution.
On this vote, the yeas are 215 and the nays are 208. The concurrent resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
And the vote now sends the resolution to the Senate, which must also approve the resolution in order for it to take effect. The move is to try and rein in Donald Trump's powers and to direct the U.S. president to withdraw American troops from Iran. The resolution, if passed in both chambers, restores the power of the Congress to declare war or authorize the use of military force. The American President Donald Trump has reacted very strongly to the House passing the War Powers Resolution in a long post on Truth Social. The American president, in fact, lashed out at the Democrats and also 4 Republicans who voted in favor of it. In his post, Donald Trump said, and I quote him here, "Yesterday, in a meaningless vote, the House voted 4 bad Republicans and all of the Democrats to limit my war powers right in the middle of my final negotiations to end the war with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Who would do such an unpatriotic thing? They know where the negotiations stand. The Democrats are fueled by Trump's derangement syndrome, and they would rather have our country fail than give another of many victories." The 4 Republicans, that's a whole other story. They are grandstanders. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Concurrent resolution directing the president pursuant to section.
All right, now joining us on the broadcast to put this resolution of the Congress in perspective, we've got Mr. Dav Zakheim, who is a former Undersecretary of Defense in George W. Bush's administration and currently a senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Mr. Zakheim, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. It's interesting that the Congress, in what appears to be a clear consensus where some of the Republicans have also voted for this resolution to end this war on Iran. The question is this: what does this resolution even mean for the war that is currently ongoing on Iran, which Trump administration has not called a war at all, but is called Operation Epic Fury?
Well, first of all, most wars are called Operation something or other. So that's neither here nor there. The real issue is the Congress losing its willingness to support President Trump no matter what. Right. The president is right. This vote, even if the Senate votes the same way, is meaningless simply because the president's going to veto it. And it takes 2/3 of both the House and the Senate to override him. Those who oppose what he's doing don't have the votes to do that. But it does send a message because the 4 Republicans, Thomas Massie just lost his primary. The president was against him, so we understand that one. 2 of them are war veterans, Tom Barrett and Warren Davidson. And Barrett in particular, as well as the 4th, Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania, were concerned about Congress's power because the 1973 War Powers Act explicitly says that after 60 days, the president must stop. Now, what the president and the administration have said is, well, the war's over. Well, it doesn't seem to be over. The Iranians just hit Kuwait again. We've hit some Iranian targets. The blockade of Iran continues. The closing of the strait continues. And as for the negotiations, well, these have been dragging on for some time. And now it appears that to even get them started, the Israelis have to stop hitting Lebanon. And the president had a very difficult, really an explosive phone call with Prime Minister Netanyahu,
Right.
telling him he better stop. Officially, there's now a ceasefire, but there was one before, and they're still shooting at each other. And the Iranians are saying, we're not even going to discuss the Strait of Hormuz until Lebanon is sorted out properly the way we want it to be. So, yes, there are negotiations, but where
Right.
are they headed? And I suspect that's part of why these four Republicans voted the way they did. And frankly, in the Senate, you're going to see probably the same thing. You've got 6 senators retiring. You've got 2 very popular senators
Right.
who lost their primaries because Trump supported the people who won. They owe him nothing. The 6 retiring ones owe him nothing. And I suspect you'll see a similar outcome in the Senate. But again, the president's right.
You know,
2/3, nobody's got that.
all right. Now, it's very interesting as to how this will play out in the Senate. But I want you to, weigh in on how this is playing out in the American legislatures. Does the Congress and the Senate have the power to rein in Donald Trump as the President of the United States of America in the decisions of war and peace that he makes? He is the Supreme Commander of the American Armed Forces. Can he start a war at will? Or it is Operation Fury and he can continue carrying on with the war and say, listen, we're not at war, but this is an operation that I have still got to do?
The truth of the matter is it's very, very difficult to stop the president. As I say, you need 2/3 of the Senate, you need 2/3 of the House. Even if you pass a war powers resolution like they just did, he's going to veto that. And he's just going to continue. Now, this isn't the first war that the United States has gotten into without proper congressional support. That's why there was a 1973 War Powers Resolution, precisely because they were concerned about how we got into a war and whether Congress could stop it. But as long as you've got that 2/3 requirement,
Right.
which the War Powers Resolution requires, any president, whether it's Mr. Trump or anybody else, can simply veto it and say, okay, if you can override me, I'll stop. If you cannot override me, I can do what I want to do.
I think you've put that really well in perspective. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Zakheim, for joining us with that perspective there.
Thank you for having me.